Good morning everybody, this is Lawrence Suxham here. Right, I'm here in a City Box hotel. As you could see, this is a lovely morning out there. Now, if you look out there, if you can zoom in, here it is. Here's Bend the Gate front with the trailer, all nice and secured. Here we go, very nice. Okay, so what are my plans for today is that I might be visiting around Antwerp, yes. So what I had in mind is that I might go to the Chocolate Nation because, yeah, one of my first guilty pleasures is, Belgian chocolate, of course, because Belgium is very well known of making chocolate along with beer. Because, yes, Belgium knew how to make beer, which is the reason why Belgium has brewed over 300 different types of beer. For example, Duvel, Lefman, Leffe, Ordevel, you name it. And then afterwards, I'm gonna get changed in a metal outfit, especially the metal shirt and the leather jacket, because tonight is gonna be the big night, which is Amaranthe, Beyond the Black, Ad Infinitum, and Butcher Babysit. So, let's go. This is one way to kickstart a video, walking in the city of Antwerp. Yep, you hear ambulance, stuff like that, you can hear the sirens, you see cyclists cycling about, cars, but of course Antwerp is one of the top 10 cycling nations in Europe, along with Eindhoven, Utrecht and Amsterdam. Of course there are a lot of cities in Europe, which have the most cycling cities. But anyway, what I'm going is the Chocolate Nation, because chocolate is what's really famous for in Belgium. Unfortunately, the Chocolate Nation is only opened between Wednesdays and Saturdays, and today is Sunday, and so, yeah, got it. I didn't even know about this, but anyway, let's just move on and keep exploring. Never mind, because there is still so much to explore, especially here in Antwerp, because where I'm heading now is towards the docks, because don't forget, Antwerp is a city very close to the sea, and so there's a lot of ships, and especially, I heard somewhere that there is this castle, which is very close to the docks, and so, yeah, this is where we're going here in Antwerp. In this very quiet Sunday morning here in Antwerp, and so, yes, I'm walking ahead towards the docks, and so, yeah, hopefully I can see some boats as well as ships, and see something very epic. Okay, what I'm walking just by is this historical looking building, which you could see that there is this tower and spires and the architecture about, and you can see this is all made of granite and brick. This must be a 17th century building, because yes, if you look at most historical cities and towns like this in Flanders, they are mostly inspired, or let's say, I would presume, very Dutch-styled buildings, which also include this one, because here you could see that there are step-like roofs. You see the tiles of roof over there, and you see the brick building of gables. Yes, that's it. If you look at the gables, you see that the style of the roof are very Flemish, or let's say Dutch, in a way. Dutch or Flemish doesn't really matter, because the architecture is just very unique in its own respect. And so here, as you could see here, this must be medieval and especially very 17th century styled buildings, if you could see here, especially when it comes to streets like this. But now we're very close to the docks. The anchor, as you could see, being carved on the building. It's very common you see such buildings like this. And now we're heading towards, this is a fort, very close to the docks. Here we are. This is the pier, this is the dock, where you can just as well tell that there are a lot of ships in and boats in the distance. And so, where we're going right now is this historical looking fort. This is a gatehouse, originally built in the 9th century as the earth fortification, but then it has been converted to stone in the 12th century. But currently, if you look at the style of the architecture, it looks very 16th century. It was originally built by Charles V. Yep, Charles V of the Holy Roman Empire, right before King Philip of Spain, who took over and then became an arrogant cunt of the First Order, which caused the Dutch to fight against the Spanish. And speaking of Dutch against the Spanish, this gatehouse here at Antwerp played a major role during the 80 Years' War, which is a long and bloody war. And in fact, it was captured by the Dutch. It was in the hands of the Dutch to begin with, but then there's been a long months of siege done by the Spanish, bombarding the garrison of the Dutch. And in fact, yes, the Dutch held out for as long as it takes until the whole garrison has been starved out by, you know, Spanish army. Yes, that's it. The Spanish army, which completely besieged the whole city of Antwerp, starving out the garrison because of the lack of food supplies. It's also because that the Spanish have this very dirty tactics of cutting out food supplies to prevent any reinforcements to reinforce the Dutch while holding out the city against the Spanish. And if you look here, you could see that there is this inscription of the whole history behind this gatehouse, all part of the fortification. But what you see right now, this is what remains of the gatehouse. And you could tell from the architecture that you see towers with spiral roofs, and behind the spiral roofs you see step-shaped roofs as well, very Flemish or Dutch-styled building, which is very typical what you see in the Low Countries. The River Scheldt. There lies the river along it, where you could see boats and ships sailing along the river, carrying goods, passengers and all of that. And yet, in the 16th and 17th century, you can just as well imagine sailing ships, or let's say galleons, sailing along the river, or even wooden boats carrying cargo, and even food supplies. And especially during the siege of Antwerp, you can just as well imagine that the Dutch Navy even tried to reinforce the Dutch who were holding out in Antwerp, especially with this gatehouse, for example, part of the fortifications. And so, yeah, but unfortunately the Spanish Navy, they got the hand of it because they've actually fought against the Dutch, and they even cut out reinforcements, preventing Dutch reinforcements from aiding the garrison of Antwerp, which is the reason why Antwerp eventually fell back into Spanish hands until the end of the war in 1648. Well, I'm walking along the docks. Next to me, this is where they've placed all the barges and the other boats, you know, so that they will do some shipbuilding or even as hangars before departing to go on the River Scheldt when it comes to transporting cargo and other goods. And so yes, this is the city port of Antwerp. It's very unique in a way because it's one of the very rarest occasions where, you know, especially in the northern part of Belgium, which is the only bit of part of Belgium where it has access to the sea, access to the water. And so, yes, this is where the maritime culture lies. And so, here I am. Here it is, that's the crane. you can just as well imagine that it's very typical, because if you look at the cabin made of wood, and especially the crane made of iron and steel, it's typically 19th century. It's a 19th century sort of crane, which it moves about carrying all the goods and other essential stuff to load it onto the cargo, especially onto the barges. And as you could tell here, it says 1882. I know, it's in Dutch, let's say. Bota kranen waren vanaf 1882. De standaard de rusting van de keien aan de Schelde in de oude doken. De staat kocht in total 226. Sorry, when it comes to numbers, I'm pretty shit about knowing Dutch numbers. But anyway. Okay, so right, we're gonna leave it here for now. Anyway, I really hope you really liked the video. And yeah, tonight is gonna be a very epic concert, especially when it comes to Amaranthe, Beyond the Black, and yeah, other bands I would name, especially when it comes to tonight. Alright, thank you very much, and hopefully you enjoyed the video. Have a nice day, and rock on! One more thing is that, ooh, what's this? Explore the homes of former Mayor Nicholas Rhodes and the picture. I wonder what's in here. That is so cool. That's so cool. Baroque music, harpsichord, Baroque style vase.